Just ahead on American Black Journal, a local organization encourages African American men to lead healthier lifestyles. We'll tell you about an upcoming event organized by 100 black men of Greater Detroit. Plus, Patriot Week is approaching. We'll talk to the co-founders about how they're helping renew the American spirit. That's all coming up next.
Lindsay wants to know.
So I'm curious, what's DTE Energy doing to improve their customer service?
Why don't we take a ride over there and let Rachel tell us? Hello.
Hello. Take a walk with me. Here at DTE Energy, we're working very hard to improve our service, like answering every call under 1 minute and resolving the issue on the first call.
Wow, no passing the buck, huh?
Nope. And plus, we're adding over 100 customer service jobs right here in the state of Michigan.
I need to get a real job.
I'm going to send your application.
Thanks, Rachel. DTE Energy. Know your own power.
When I grow up,
I want to be an architectural engineer.
registered nurse,
in the law enforcement,
a computer scientist,
a successful person.
Give Michigan's children the chance to aim high with quality early education.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. Today we're continuing the conversation about creating a healthier African American community. It's a topic we've discussed frequently on this program. African Americans have the highest death rates from most types of cancer, diabetes, and heart disease. Plus, black men die at least 7 years earlier on average than men from other ethnic groups. 100 Black Men of Greater Detroit wants to help African American men get healthy and live longer. The group is partnering with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan for the 4th annual Man Up for Better Health event at the Belle Isle Casino on Saturday, September 14th. Joining me now to talk about the event and African American health are Dr. Jason Denny, Senior Staff Surgeon at Henry Ford Transplant Institute, and Brian Olatunji, Vice President of Operations for 100 Black Men. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
So this event has been going on for a while now. Tell me what kind of progress you feel like we're seeing now that we're doing this.
Well, we're seeing quite a bit of progress. We have screened well over 1,000 people over the few years that we've been doing it. We've had the event even in downpour of rain 2 years ago, and we still saw about 400 or 500 people that year. But the overall numbers are still significantly poor because one event can't change an entire city or entire country's health disparities, but we're working toward that.
Right. So I show up on Saturday, September 14th. What would I expect, Brian?
Well, there's a few things that you can expect when you arrive at Belle Isle. Again, that's going to be on September 14th. That's from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. The first thing that you'll have to do is you'll be required to register, and you can find additional information online at 100blackmen.org, or you can give us a call at 313-874-4811. Now, what you'll see there is you'll see other healthcare physicians and industry professionals such as Dr. Denny here that will be there to screen for a multitude of different checks. But ultimately, the goal is to identify prostate cancer awareness, heart disease, as well as diabetes. There'll also be a 3-mile walk around Belle Isle, which, as we all know, is one of our jewels. And there'll be free refreshments and cash prize and giveaways. Right.
When we talk about men's health and African American men's health, I mean, obviously, like I said in the open, we've been talking about this a lot on the show. It's subject of discussion in the community all the time as well. Events like this are great, but we got to start much earlier, don't we, in terms of getting people to lead healthy lifestyles in the first place?
Well, we definitely do, and the first part of that is having the person begin a relationship with their primary care physician or medical professional. Many people will tell you, I'm healthy as a horse, I've never seen a doctor. But that just means you've never seen a doctor. It doesn't mean that you're healthy as a horse.
Those two things can't possibly be true together, right?
And that's one of the major things that will happen at the health fair. We'll give them a passport. Just like your passport is used to get you around the world, this passport will be used to get you through the health fair. And in it, you can put your primary care physician, or if you need one, we can help you get one, and all the different doctors that you see. We'll be screening for high blood pressure. We will be doing a blood test, a simple PSA blood test for prostate cancer. Black men get prostate cancer at a higher rate and die 2.4 times faster than their counterparts. And this is something that can be treated very easily with a small operation or sometimes just medicine. We'll be checking for cholesterol. All of this is free, no charge for underinsured or people with no insurance at all.
Right. And at Henry Ford, you see this stuff on the front lines every day. Right?
Absolutely. We see it definitely on the front lines, and we service the Detroit area. As a transplant surgeon, although I'm involved in this level for primary care, I see patients whose hypertension has caused them to have kidney disease. 2 of the zip codes in Detroit have some of the highest level of kidney disease and therefore dialysis. So I may give someone a kidney transplant, but I would like to get to the point where maybe no one needs a kidney transplant.
Right.
Try to put me out of business.
Right, right. Well, and that's the key, right? And prevention,
absolutely,
rather than dealing with that. And that's one of the things that 100 Black Men is really focused on, right? Is getting people to the idea of understanding what they need to do before they get into health trouble.
Absolutely. Preventative care is one of the marquee objectives of this health screening and health fair, is for folks to, 1, develop a relationship with their primary care physician if there isn't one, and to develop preventative care measures. So those are our main 2 objectives.
Right, right. Tell me about some of the other things that 100 Black Men is doing. I know you guys are very active.
Yeah, absolutely. So
area.
We're active in the Detroit and greater Detroit metro community. Now we're in our 20th year of service to the greater populace of Detroit. And one of our marquee programs is Project Success. It's now in its 8th year, and we've had phenomenal success. In fact, just this past school year, the 2012-2013 school year, that culminated where we had 100% of the young men that were in our program that graduated and went on to higher education. So they're all now enrolled in college or university, and those are young men that we're very proud of. We've had 6 graduating classes. We're now working with our first group that will be graduating from college this coming school year. And so we're very excited about the progress that we've made with that program. In addition, obviously, our Man Up Family Health Fair and Screening is one of our marquee programs.
Sure.
We also have a gala, which is coming up, and that gala is to support our programs overall. And so our gala is coming up on October 20th. It's going to take place at Art Van Furniture Center, which is located in Warren, Michigan on 14 Mile Road. And that's a phenomenal event. It's a great opportunity to engage and also to make an impact by providing some much needed resources for the programs that we support.
Sure. When we talk about men's health, are we usually talking about lifestyle, or are we talking about access as the major problems?
That's a very insightful question. A very insightful question. It's usually both. Lifestyle definitely contributes to a healthier person, and access clearly as well. Some of it is just the ability to get to a clinic. Some people literally do not have bus fare. And some people think that that's odd, but I see that all the time. People have to choose between food and coming to the doctor. And if you think you feel well, there's no symptoms typically from hypertension or diabetes, at least they're mild symptoms, people let those go. So access is a big issue.
Yeah,
it definitely is.
And in Detroit, you know, if you live in the neighborhoods sort of far from the Detroit Medical Center or Henry Ford, the bigger hospitals, are there clinics available for people that are closer by?
There are clinics, and we will have a list of free clinics where people can go get care, to give them information for things that are close, because there are some things that are there that people don't know about. We will have that as well. All the major health organizations will be involved in the fair: Henry Ford, Beaumont Hospital, the Detroit Medical Center, St. John's Providence Hospital, a variety of local and state health agencies. So we covered all bases. This year we're also going to do mental health. We're going to be covering sexually transmitted diseases, HIV and AIDS education, and even dental health. We'll have activities for the kids and also a little bit of pediatrics. So we're going to cover as many bases as we can this year.
Yeah. What changes do you foresee with the access problem with the Affordable Care Act? I mean, is health reform really going to make that much of a difference in places like Detroit?
Boy, I don't know if we have enough time.
We can talk about that for days, right?
I think for some people it will, in the sense that some people don't access the system because of the fear of what it will cost and what I need to do.
Right.
And when that barrier is removed, I think many more people will do that.
Yeah.
How it's paid for and how the institutions will respond is different. But I think
right.
the access to the individual will be improved.
Right. Right. The Belle Isle event, it's free. Anyone can show up anytime, right?
Yeah, so again, what's critical is that we do have the screenings which are available, but also the other component that we want to drive home is the education aspect. What Dr. Denny alluded to is that we want to ensure the audience that they'll get an opportunity to be educated on preventative care measures as well as other places where they can go and get care if they're unable or don't have the means to travel to the center part of the city. So yes, the whole family is invited.
Right.
The more the merrier.
Right.
We encourage folks to bring their family out. And again, that's on September 14th from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Right. In general, would you say? I mean, would you say that the African American population in Detroit is more or less at risk than in other places for some of these health issues? Is it worse here or is it better?
It's significantly worse.
Yeah.
For the reasons that we've mentioned, it's significantly worse. We're afflicted by certain illnesses that cause other long-term illnesses, hypertension and diabetes being one of them. That leads to heart disease, leads to kidney disease, leads to stroke.
Right.
And when we get these things, we die at a higher rate than our counterparts, up to 20, 30, and even 40%, depending on what we're talking about. And some of it is late access,
okay.
which causes a problem
right.
as well.
In other words, that I may be suffering from something that I don't know, and I don't get treated, and it advances more quickly.
Yes, and we need to change the culture. So if you tell me I have this thing going on, instead of me saying, hey, just be tough, I say, hey, you got to go see a doctor. Come see my doctor.
Right.
And doctors need to find ways to embrace the patients in the way that the patients require.
Right.
In fact, we had 2 years ago, we had someone that attended our health fair and screening, and they went straight from our health fair to the ER because there was something that they weren't aware of.
Something
that was
they
diagnosed during the event.
Yeah.
So it definitely has made an impact in our community.
Yeah. So the lesson here is go to the doctor, right?
Go to the doctor
once a year, get a checkup.
And register at the website.
Right. That's right.
100blackmendetroit.org.
Okay. Very good. Great to have you guys here.
Thank you so
Thank
very
you
much
for having us.
Just ahead on American Black Journal, a local judge and his daughter started an observance that's recognized by numerous local government, schools, and community organizations. We'll tell you about Patriot Week coming up next. The celebration known as Patriot Week is growing throughout Michigan and many other states. The event focuses on renewing America's spirit by celebrating the first principles, such as racial and gender equality and unalienable rights. The week also celebrates the patriots, documents, and flags that made America the greatest nation in history. This year's observance takes place September 11th through September 17th. I'm pleased to welcome the two co-founders of Patriot Week to American Black Journal, Oakland County Circuit Judge Michael Warren and his daughter Leah Warren. Also joining us is a member of the Patriot Week Advisory Board, Ernestine Sanders, who's the president and CEO of Cornerstone Schools. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you so much for having us.
And I would be remiss, Michael, in not noting that this is a reunion of sorts, right? You
Absolutely.
and I went to college together at the
Go
University of
Blue.
Michigan. That's right. And you were on, I think, student government, and I was at the student newspaper.
Absolutely. It was a lot of fun back then.
Still in the same places.
That's right.
Yeah. So tell me where you came up with the idea for Patriot Week.
Well, it was actually a lunch that Leah and I had where we had been discussing kind of the demise of the civic calendar. We have a history in our country of needing to renew the spirit of America by commemorating key dates like the Independence Day, Memorial Day, Armistice Day, George Washington's birthday, Lincoln's birthday. That's really important for us to kind of stop in the hustle bustle of our day to remind ourselves about what makes us such an exceptional nation. And we have corroded it, made it commercialized, kind of hollowed out, and now they're empty excuses for barbecues and 3-day weekends. And Leah got very upset when she heard that, pounded on the table and said, "Dad, we need to do something about that. We need a new celebration for America." And that's really how it started.
Okay.
When she was 10. So.
See, and that's pretty remarkable for a 10-year-old to come up with this. And so, what are the kind of things that you guys are asking people to do on during Patriot Week?
Well, we first off, we celebrate, as you mentioned, the founding first principles from a Declaration of Independence, like unalienable rights, limited government, the social compact, and equality, both racial and gender, and key documents and speeches that embody that, founding fathers and other great patriots that made them come alive in America. And Leah had this brilliant idea about having flags from our history to symbolize that. It's very grassroots. We have a number of schools involved, and Cornerstone Schools is
one of them.
Was one of them, and came right out of the box to do it. So there's lesson plans and the student assemblies, things like that. We have Patriot Paloozas. We're going to have one on September 14th at historic Fort Wayne, which should be a great event. We have picnics. There's been parades. There have been panel discussions. Rotary clubs and Kiwanuses dedicate their meetings to it. Churches are getting involved. It's very grassroots and particularized to each group that gets involved.
Right. So Leah, tell me about the frustration that you were feeling that led you to say we need a Patriot Week.
Well, my dad actually brought up an article that he read about Kwanzaa, and he said that this professor came up with it in the 60s in his basement. And I said, well, if he can come up with it in his basement, then I should be able to come up with a holiday. And he was even it was around a holiday. I want to say it might have even been like Labor Day. And there was all these sales coming on. I'm like, but that's not what Labor Day is really about. We need to get back to
It's not about cheap merchandise.
Although I love shopping.
Yeah.
We really need to get back to the foundation of what those holidays are really about, get back to the real meaning about it. And that's what Patriot Week does. It brings back those first principles, helps you renew the American spirit, just in simple ways like reading the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah. Well, and you know, I'm known to sort of go on at times about how we don't teach this stuff in schools anymore. I mean, the amount of time that's spent not just teaching history, but also teaching about the principles of American history, teaching people what's in the Constitution and what's not, teaching people what the Bill of Rights is and how that's a special part of the Constitution or the Declaration. We just don't spend a lot of time on that anymore.
I think you're right. There are exceptions. Cornerstone is one of them, thankfully. Right. But generally, we've done a couple of things that don't make any sense. The purpose of public education, one of the primary purposes, was to inform our individuals so that they could become educated, informed citizens.
Responsible citizens.
Responsible citizens. And what's happened is it's really been put on the back burner. We have a number of educational policies where we focus on everything except for that. We don't test it as much as we do many other subjects, so of course you teach what's tested, and it's really become a secondary priority. We also have a system where we teach it chronologically, so students learn about the Revolution, for example, in elementary school, Civil War in middle school, and current history in high school, so that the last time they had the American Revolution or learned about Abraham Lincoln.
They were little kids.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a real problem.
Yeah. So Ernestine, Cornerstone is one of the systems that's embraced this. Tell me what Patriot Week looks like in your school.
Well, you know, we do several things, and being on the board with Michael, I was very excited to be able to do that. And so we work through that from our pre-K program all the way through our 11th grade program, that is part of what we do. And over the years, when Leah talked about the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution, what does it mean? It's not only to memorize it, but it's really to talk about it from their perspective. How does it play out into their home, their neighborhood? And so we do all of that at school. And then being part of this program, which I thank you very much, Leah, for doing it, and Michael, the thing that we've been able to do is say, one of the things that we do is that we come to Constitution Day. We actually send our students to the courts. what are the courts about? What do they do? Why is it important to you? And not necessarily a fearful experience.
Sure.
And then the Lollapalooza Day, Cornerstone is very involved. I mean, sometimes we make it part of a drama assignment as well as a history assignment. This year, I'm going to have a chance to talk too at the day. And so I'm very excited. And so what we really work to do at Cornerstone is to have inform young people, because our whole goal is to have them to become transformative. And we say transformative for good, a new city for all. And if you're going to do that, you have to know your history.
Sure.
You have to know all of those constitutional principles.
Sure. And do you find that that teaching this forces you to sacrifice teaching something else? I mean, is it an inconvenience to include this stuff in the curriculum?
You know, not at all. And one of the things that I find that's really important is critical thinking, reading well, and being able to discern. And so that if you're teaching all of these things, well, you're having a deep read. You know, it's not going to read something where you're not being thoughtful about it. And knowing your history, and the United States is our history.
Right.
We want to be proud of it, we want to be informed, and we want to be able to have the youngsters to be impactful. So rather than an inconvenience, it really
fits in with what you're trying to do.
what we're doing,
Sure.
yes.
Sure. In your courtroom, Michael, you must sort of stumble across instances all the time of people who might have used a little more lesson about how government works.
There's no question about that, and I would be remiss if I didn't tell the viewing audience, if you're interested in going to a 5K event or a Patriot Palooza or whatever it is, or getting lesson plans, you go to patriotweek.org. We have a list of events, lesson plans, all kinds of resources for people. In my courtroom, unfortunately, I will sentence someone or have somebody before me, and I'll say, you're going to write an essay about the importance of respecting the rule of law. The rule of law is one of our founding principles of Patriot. And you can see that they don't even know what that means.
Yeah, right.
And, or I'll say, you're going to write an essay about the importance of respecting property rights, because it maybe they stole something or ruined something. And then I get these essays, and often the first sentence is probably the most common first sentence. I've never been required to think about this, or thank you so much for making me have to write this essay as I thought about it.
Yeah.
And it's quite remarkable, and I do think it's pretty sad when we have a system where you have because I only have adults, so you're talking 18, 19, 30-year-old adults that have never really been exposed to this before.
Never been asked to contemplate those kind of questions.
Right.
Well, what about in your school, Leah? Do you find that these things are in the curriculum or not?
Well, I am going to high school this year, so
Okay.
I'm not sure about my new school since we don't start school till Tuesday. But at my prior school, Birmingham Covington, we did learn a lot about the American history, but not until I got up until like 5th grade. So it was a 3rd through 8th grade school, so 3rd grade, 4th grade, not so much history. I don't even remember learning much about social studies. And then we spent a lot of time in 5th grade with the American history and 7th grade. But that was basically the only time that I really got exposed to it. And lucky enough for me, I had this great opportunity to start a holiday that allowed me to learn a lot more about American history and to exercise my right as an American and renew the American spirit. But for those who haven't, I almost felt like sorry that you didn't get the opportunity to learn about our American history, to renew the American spirit in a way that you felt comfortable and that you felt like you were doing a greater good.
Right. So tell me, are you somebody who has a favorite event from history, a favorite document, a favorite flag? I have a favorite flag, so I'll tell you that after I'm done.
Well, I also do forensics at my old school, and I hope I'll be able to do it at my new school, at Seaholm High School. So a speech that I recently did was Patrick Henry's "Give Me Liberty or Give Me Death."
Very good choice.
And now, this speech was very difficult. My dad judged me on it, made me do it every night for about an hour, and really it became almost redundant after a point from doing it so much. But looking back on it, it was a very powerful speech.
Yes.
And the way that he was able to use words to give such emotion and to go forward with such a point, I mean, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
So I would have to say that was probably my favorite speech.
That's very cool. So My favorite flag from our history is the original Star-Spangled Banner, which has 15 stars on it, which is the one that flew over Fort McHenry as Francis Scott Key was writing the words to the Star-Spangled Banner. I lived in Baltimore for 14 years, so
Oh my gosh.
in Baltimore, that is a very popular flag. Everybody flies it. So
Excellent.
so if someone wants to get involved in running Patriot Week in their schools, patriotweek.org is where
Patriotweek.org, we have lesson plans, all kinds of events that are coming up they can join. And actually, it's very interesting. People at the last minute
decide
so
they
it's
wanna
not
do
too late to actually host an event or certainly attend one. And we have them coming all through the month of September. So it's not just September 11th through the 17th, but it's really the whole month.
All right, well, very good. Thank you guys for being here.
Well,
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us. We'd love to hear what you thought about today's show and get your ideas for future programs. So connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time on American Black Journal. Very good.
Great.
Lindsay wants to know.
So I'm curious, what's DTE Energy doing to improve their customer service?
Why don't we take a ride over there and let Rachel tell us? Hello.
Hello. Take a walk with me. Here at DC Energy, we're working very hard to improve our service, like answering every call under 1 minute and resolving the issue on the first call.
Wow, no passing the buck, huh?
Nope. And plus, we're adding over 100 customer service jobs right here in the state of Michigan.
I need to get a real job.
I'm going to send your application.
Thanks, Rachel. DTE Energy. Know your own power.
When I grow up,
I want to be an architectural engineer.
registered nurse,
The law enforcement.
a computer scientist,
A successful person.
Give Michigan's children the chance to aim high with quality early education.